Hi guys, Ready Set RC back again today, and today we have the Arrma Outcast 4x4 4S BLX. This is the new version under the 4x4 edition of this chassis. When I saw this released last Thursday, had no idea this was coming out. Put an order in with Horizon Hobby and got this sent to me. We're going to be doing a comparison between this truck, Crew Cab BLX, and the Arrma Senton Mega. I do not have the brushless edition, but between the brushed and brushless edition, it is basically the same size truck. I'll show you comparisons between all three so you get an idea exactly what these trucks look like across the different lines. Arrma Outcast 4x4 4S BLX edition. On this truck, guys, we have a wheelie bar. One of the key things that you're going to notice on here is the tower-to-tower brace that's on this. The shocks are big bore shocks. They are not threaded, but they are adjustable with clip. They are oil filled. Similar to the other Arrma trucks, you'll know that notice that they'll have the extended height dirt defenders on there as well. 4x4 editions, very modular in the design of this truck, very easy to work on. So you're going to see a lot of those parts are as with the other brushless editions within the 4x4 line, you have adjustable turnbuckles all the way throughout. On this truck, you have the downforce wing, the EC5 connectors, which is a dual connector on this one, which is unlike the other BLX editions. Other than the Creighton, you have a standard EC5 connector on here, but there are two. You have metal gear differentials on the front and the rear. Just like the Creighton in the 4x4 line, this also has the metal spur gear. This is something that is different than the other 4x4 trucks within this lineup. The rest of them have a plastic spur gear. And basically just telling you what's in the box. You have the Spectrum STX controller. You have a new servo to the 4x4 additions on this truck, which is the ADS 15M. You have the BLX 120 waterproof ESC. This is 3S and 4S capable. And you also have the BLX 3668 2400 kV brushless motor on this truck. But that's it, guys. Let's get this box open and let's see what this truck looks like. All right, guys, we got the Arrma Outcast out of the box. I wanted to keep the cellophane on there. I want you guys to see what I'm seeing as I take this thing off. But let's go through what's in the box. Very simple. If you guys are familiar with the 4x4 editions, very simple, very simply stated what's in the box. But now you're starting to get these STX2 controllers. This is my first time getting the STX2 controller with an Arrma vehicle. I've had these in the past with the Losis. If you guys have seen my other videos, you know my feelings about these. I am not happy with them at all. This is definitely going to be the first thing that I swap out of this truck. I will not be running this on any of my runs with this truck. What you got in here is the owner's manual, stickers, and some tools. You also have the adjusters for the shocks, so to adjust the ride heights on the shocks in here as well. There's about 4 clips in here that you're able to adjust with the shock. I have to say, this copper looks amazing. It looks amazing in person. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm not a fan of brown vehicles, but this does look good. For the way that this is designed and the way it shines and the sparkle that comes off of this, it looks really good. The paint job on this is done extremely well. It does look very good. And I can't wait to see what this looks like after a couple runs of bashing it and how it all holds up. As I said, I've never owned an Outcast before, so I'm looking to see how it's gonna run on this. And I'm gonna take it on the asphalt. I wanna see the scuffs, the marks of how this, sparks up when you hit the asphalt. Similar to the other Arrma bodies that are out there, they have the slogan in there, don't just bash, blast. They have the body protectors all throughout, and the reinforcement of the body pins is on the shell. So on this truck, just getting into it, new springs on this truck all throughout. But since these are 16mm big bore shocks, you have a bigger spring that seems to be dialed in just right. It's very plush. I cannot wait to get this thing out. What I am noticing compared to my Big Rock is that these support arms are much longer. I do not have a Typhon 4x4, so I can't say how much bigger they are than the Typhon, but these are definitely larger than what's on the Big Rock. Tires feel great. They are firm, a lot more firmer than what's on the Big Rock. As for the chassis, it's a smaller chassis, guys. This chassis is by far smaller than what's on the Big Rock. I have to say, this is about, it has to be the size of the Granite. The Senton and the Big Rock's chassis is identical, and it's definitely bigger than this. So I have to say this more so falls in line with what's on the Granite, because the Granite is a shorter chassis on here. You have the tower-to-tower brace. You have fans on the motor and on the ESC. What I'm noticing too is that with that servo that's in here, it is definitely a higher rate servo that's on this truck. I want to believe it's 195 kilograms of torque. That front bumper is very flexible. Wheelie bar on the rear definitely looks like it's re-engineered compared to the wheelie bar that's on the Big Rock. The wheelie bar on the Big Rock, that broke on my first run. This looks like it's going to be a lot more durable. I love that sound, guys. So the sound that you're hearing is the metal spur gear on here, which is not something that you'll get on the other 4x4 editions other than the Creighton. All modular design. It's still the same modular design throughout, just like the other 4x4 editions. But what I am noticing on this one is that it's just beefier. Everything is just bigger than what you would get on the other editions. And definitely there is a tremendous value in that. In regards to the length on the Arrma Granite, it's 18.74 inches or 476 millimeters compared to the Arrma Outcast, which is 19.17 inches or 487 millimeters. In regards to the width of the two trucks, and I'm going to go through the width for the rear of the Arrma Outcast because the width is listed a little bit wider than the front. But the width on the Arrma Outcast is 16.02 inches or 407 millimeters versus the Arrma Granite, which the width is 13.5 inches and 342 millimeters. The wheelbase on the Arrma Outcast is 11.3 inches or 287 millimeters versus the Arrma Granite. The wheelbase is identical. It's 11.3 inches, 287 millimeters. Arrma Senton brushed edition. Between the brush and the brushless, there's no difference in regards to the size. I brought that out along with the Arrma Outcast, the 4S. I've converted this over to a monster Senton. So this is not running the stock wheels. These are actually the wheels from the Big Rock that are running on here right now. So you guys can clearly understand why there is a somewhat of a size similarity between the widths of the two trucks. But I am running this now and it's more of a monster Senton. It's no longer brushed, it's now brushless. What you can see from the two trucks, you can see the width is much wider on the Arrma Outcast. You can't pick that up too clearly in the way that they're sitting on the table right now, but I will put the two trucks on top of each other and you'll get a clear idea as to what this looks like. So hopefully guys, you're able to pick that up, but you can clearly see from here on each side how much wider the Arrma Outcast is from the Arrma Senton. In case any of you were looking to make a conversion from the Senton to the Outcast, and you will get an idea exactly how much wider this truck is. In regards, as stated before, in regards to the length, this is definitely a longer vehicle than the Senton. And just to give you guys another angle of the two trucks on top, just so you can get a little bit more of an idea of exactly how much longer the Arrma Senton is than the Arrma Outcast. Here we are guys, the Arrma Big Rock, the Arrma Outcast 3S, 4S. Just full disclosure on this truck guys, if you have not seen my videos on this truck before, these are now running the MX-28s. What I've refitted on this truck normally comes with a 14mm hex. I've now adjusted it to run a 12mm hex. And what I'm also running is extenders on here to widen the stance on here, because what I noticed that on this truck with the shorter stance, it had the prone of rollovers a lot. So what I did was I widened the stance. So you're gonna notice that between the two trucks. please go back to my previous videos of this vehicle and you'll see exactly what I did to make it look like you see today. But just going back into this video, guys, as you guys can see here from the trucks from side to side, once again, the Outcast is a wider truck. You'll see that this is a much narrower truck, even with my changes or my modifications that I've done to the Big Rock. In regards to length, like I said, with the Senton, this is the same chassis that's on the Senton. This is a longer truck. There it is, guys. Arrma Big Rock, Arrma Outcast. Hopefully you can see the width difference between the two trucks. This is going to improve the handling on this so much. I can tell you that off the bat. When I did that with this Big Rock, completely different truck once I widened the stance. I can only imagine what this is going to be like on the Arrma Outcast. But you can clearly see the width difference between the two. So as you guys saw with the Arrma Senton, same platform as the Senton on the Big Rock. You can see that it is a longer truck. Definitely, as I was stating before, in regards to the tire size, it makes it look like that's not the case. But if you look at the wheelbases between the two, you can clearly see that the Big Rock is a longer wheelbase. So from this shot, guys, I'm showing you a little bit more of how the steering knuckles are different between the Arrma Outcast versus the Arrma Big Rock. On this shot, you'll notice that the turnbuckles are much longer on the Arrma Outcast versus the Arrma Big Rock. You'll see that the shocks, big bore shocks on the Arrma Outcast compared to the Arrma Big Rock. Some other noticeable differences as you see the chassis layout, the tower-to-tower brace, the fan on the motor. As I was stating before, the servo is completely different. There's a dual EC5 connector on the Arrma Outcast versus the Arrma Big Rock. But that's it, guys. Please like, comment, subscribe. Check us out for Instagram for our latest post to the channel. This is Ready Set RC signing out. Thanks again, guys.